friends, my name is Maddie and welcome back to my YouTube channel. For today's video, I'm going to be doing the mid-year freakout tag. I am a wee bit behind on it, but that's okay. So basically this is a tag video where you go over all the books you've pretty much read this year. Let's go ahead and get started. The first question is the best books you have read so far this year in 2024. One of the first books that absolutely have changed my life, and it's going to be the answer to most of these questions on here, is Radium Girls by Kate Moore. This is a nonfiction book set in the 1930s into the 1950s even, about this group of girls who used to work in these radium dial factories. So they would paint numbers on clocks and all of the paint had radium in it. And of course you're just watching these girls slowly die, and they're fighting for their rights to have better workplaces and fight for the right to have the money to pay for their healthcare pretty much. And it's just absolutely devastating and incredible, and probably one of the most life-changing books I've ever read in my life. Another book that I have absolutely loved and 100% need more of is The Sword of Kaigan by M.L. Wang. And this is a very I feel like if you like Avatar: The Last Airbender, you'd like this one. So basically this is set in a world where the Kaigan Empire is the most powerful, and you're following a mother who is a very powerful warrior, but she has given up her life to basically raise her children and be the maternal head of this clan. And you're following Mamoru, who is the son of the family, pretty much. And you're watching as their village is attacked and they're fighting back, and the war scenes, the battle scenes in this book are absolutely just incredible and very easy to follow along with, and you could just visualize it so easily. And I feel like the magic system is deep, but it's not difficult to follow, so I cannot recommend this one enough. It's just so fantastic. And of course I can't not mention V. Schwab on my mid-year freakout tag. And so with that being said, one of my other favorite books this year has been The Fragile Threads of Power by V. Schwab. And so this is following a new queen in the White London. You're following a new thief, and you're following your old gang, so you have Kel and Lila and Accolard and Rai. And I just really loved seeing these four characters back, and two, seeing all these new characters as well, and kind of figuring out who do we trust? Are you really good? Are you bad? And I just really love the new dynamic of these new four characters, especially with everything that happens in the original trilogy, which I'm not going to say too much about, but I just think it handles, it takes on a concept that is not often seen in fiction, in the way that, how can I explain this without giving too much away? Oftentimes in fiction you see your men dying and your females losing powers. That is the big bad. Whereas in this one, your the man loses his powers. He doesn't die. So he's trying to navigate the world without powers, and that's not often something you see, especially in fantasy. Normally the men it is more substantial for them to die than live without their powers. So I think it's just really interesting, and I cannot wait to see where the rest of the series goes. I don't have my copy, so the next question is the best sequels you have read in 2024, and I have to give it to Magnolia Park's Into the Dark. Absolutely phenomenal. I was very close to crying. I think it wraps up Magnolia's story so perfectly, and it handles grief, which is a subject we haven't really dealt with in this series, and I think it's just handled so beautifully, and everyone kind of gets their little happily ever after. So it was very sad to say goodbye to this world, but I just absolutely love it, and it was just absolutely an incredible read. Another sequel that I love it so much, it was Nobody Like Us by Krista and Becca Ritchie. I am a diehard Donnelly and Luna fan. I am their #1 supporter in this life. So wrapping up their story and wrapping up the whole series was just absolutely incredible and beautiful, and I love the series, but two, to finish it off with these such strong characters, I couldn't have asked for anything better, in my opinion. I'm very excited, of course, to see where the Cobalt Empire I'm so excited to see where that series goes. So we're not leaving the world just yet, but I absolutely do love these older siblings, and again, just a fantastic read, and I cannot recommend Krista and Becky Ritchie anymore. A new release that I haven't read, I have not picked up Honeycut yet by Sierra Simone, which is the second book in the Lioness series trilogy. I haven't picked that up. That came out in June. I haven't picked up Gold by Raven Kennedy, which came out at the very end of last year. I don't know why I thought it was coming out this... Goldfinch is coming out this year though. We'll get to that one later. Yeah, so I haven't picked up Gold. I haven't picked up Love Unwritten by Lauren Asher, so that's definitely a big one on my list. And then in regards to most anticipated releases for the end of this year, I have Goldfinch by Raven Kennedy, so we are finishing out the Plated Prisoner series. I'm currently in the midst of a reread for this. I really want to pick up Dishonestly Yours. I don't know if this has come out yet or if it is out now or if it's going to come out later this month. But this is basically a new series by Krista and Becky Ritchie. I love them so much. But this is about con artists, and I think I am so excited to read this book, and I cannot wait to get my hands on it. Then at the very end of this year, The Songbird and the Heart of Stone, which is the third book in the Crown of Naxia series by Carissa Broadbent. I have absolutely loved this series. It has changed my life. I don't know if for the good, I don't know if for the better, but it has changed my life. And I am very, very excited to keep reading the series. It's a vampire series. They are now following two different characters. We're not following the same two characters from the first two books. So I'm very interested to see where we go with this. Alright, so the next question is the biggest surprise from this year, and I only have one that I can really think of that like absolutely blew me away in ways I did not expect. And I could not see a single plot twist coming. And I'm generally pretty good about like spotting plot twist, but this one had me, man. And that is The Prison Healer by Lynette Nani. And so this is about Kiva, who is the prison healer, and no one really trusts her because she's like the warden's favorite, so everyone thinks she's like a snitch. And basically her family has been saying like, we're gonna come get you, we're gonna come get you. And when the rebel queen is sent to the prison to undergo trials, Kiva takes her place because the queen is dying and she has to keep the queen alive because her family keeps saying that they're gonna come for her. And just everything, there's so many, like I could not imagine how many twists were packed into this book that I just did not see. Like it was like one after another at the very end of this. Like first off, the setup of this book is really, really good, and the trials of it are really good. So like that part was expected for me, but then man, the last like, I don't even know, 50 pages, I was just like, oh my god, what is going on? Do I know anything? So I have really high expectations for the rest of the series, and I'm very excited to pick it up. The next question is biggest disappointments, and I have quite a few. The first one is going to be Happy Place by Emily Henry, and at first, I really, really enjoyed this book. I thought the characters were interesting, but everything was set up on a miscommunication, and then I couldn't understand the characters' reasoning at the end. Like, absolutely nothing in my mind could make sense of, like, what this character had decided. Basically, she was a resident doctor, so she's not yet a practicing doctor, and she comes from a family with a ton of financial strain, and she's very worried financially, but she ends up quitting her job to be happy and do pottery, and she's like not even good at it. And like, I don't know, to me that just sounds like a recipe for disaster and 101 on how to end up like a parent, especially with a slew of medical debt. So I really just did not care for this one. I thought it was just awful, and I don't understand the hype. Another one that I did not really care for was The Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb. I thought this was very slow, and I don't understand the hype behind these books. I understand that this is like the first trilogy of like a very long series of like 7 or 8 trilogies or whatever, but I don't like this one. This was not good, and nothing happens in these books, and it's all very long-winded for like no freaking reason. Like, just get to the point. It's okay, you don't have to give me a whole like paragraph on why the wind looks blue. I don't know, whatever. Another disappointment for me, which really shouldn't have been a surprise, was Wild Love by Elsie Silver. I'm not a huge fan of Elsie Silver, but absolutely nothing in this book like really made sense. I had really high hopes because I knew it was going to be a single dad romance, but the single dad portion of it did not like mesh well with the rest of the story, and Ford's supposed to be a billionaire and he doesn't feel like a billionaire, and these two characters are supposed to be like pining for each other after 10 years, and there's like no chemistry. They haven't seen each other in like forever, so it just, nothing really meshed very well for me in this one. I don't really get the hype behind it. I don't really get the hype behind Elsie Silver's books in general. I'm gonna say that now. I think they're just okay. Quantity does not equal quality. And with that said, my biggest disappointment of the year is, without a doubt, Crescent City 3. Oh, I could cry just thinking about it, how disappointed I am in this book. Absolutely nothing in this book was what I wanted it to be. And I'm gonna take that back. I'm taking those words back. I mean that in the way that, one, Bryce's character seemed to become this almost caricature of herself, and she is trying to be Aelin, but she's not Aelin in any way, shape, or form. And Lydia carried this book on her shoulders. That is the only reason it got 2 stars. Her and Rune Dannon, because I love Rune Dannon. I am Rune Dannon's gal, okay? It all felt very easily defeated, and we haven't gotten confirmation of a 3rd book, but if this is truly just a trilogy, this is the worst trilogy ever. This is hands down Sarah J. Maas's worst book she's ever written, and I don't say that lightly. Like, it was so bad. Again, I wasn't expecting, I've mentioned this on my channel before, I wasn't expecting like ACOTAR 7 or whatever. I wasn't expecting, you know, it was all just very lackluster. And I really thought the amount of time Bryce was kind of around, away from everyone else, I didn't think she would be gone that long. And again, I know this happens all in the span of like a week, and it did not hit. It didn't hit, and I'm very sad about it because I wish it did. So the next question is a new favorite author, so that is either new or debut to you. I have Rena Kent, who I have surprisingly really enjoyed this year. I've read like 5 or 6 of her books. I think I've read like 7 of her books actually, now that I'm like tallying them up in my head. I've read like 7 of her books this year. I really like them. I don't know why I was like teetering away from them for a really long time. These are really good books. They're really fun. They're easy to read. Overall, I just have a really good time reading them. Another one who I have really enjoyed this year is Abby Jimenez. She is just absolutely a fireball. I absolutely love her books so much. I am about to start Just for the Summer very soon. I'm very excited to read it. I've read Yours Truly and Part of Your World, and I absolutely love both of them. I think all the characters are great in it, the plots are great in it, and I cannot be steered wrong from Abby Jimenez. I recommend her to all of my friends, so yeah, I guess I don't have a ton of new fictional crushes. A lot of the books that I have been giving really high ratings to are books, one, that I've already read, or 2, they've been a fictional crush for years now because they're like sequels or like follow-up series. So newest fictional crush, I guess what I would have to say, I'm gonna sound insane for this, I have to say Nero by S.J. Tilley. Do I want this plot to happen to me? Not particularly. Do I love Nero anyways? Yes, I do. Basically, Nero is about a girl who runs away from home at like 17, and she's on her own, been on her own, kind of struggling, and one day Nero is just sitting on her couch and he kind of becomes obsessed with her. What I do love about Nero is that his willingness to make her happy and do anything she wants and needs. Like he goes and gets her a dog because she one day says, I really want to have a dog one day. He makes it happen and she's very happy, and you know what? That's beautiful. I love it. Do I want a psycho obsessed with me? Not particularly, but I do love Nero very much. He was a good main character. Okay, the next question is a book that made you cry. Yeah, I gotta go with, okay, so I'm gonna go with Radium Girls for this one. I was really trying not to repeat answers, but that was the closest I came to crying this year. The entire time I read Radium Girls, I had this like pit in my stomach. because you're just, like I said, you're just watching these girls like all slowly get sick and die, and they don't know what's wrong with them, and it's just really icky, and like you know what's wrong with them, and you know they're gonna die because they all have radium poisoning, and it's just really sad. So that was probably the closest I came to crying, because I was just so like emotionally disturbed the entire time I read this book. So the next question is a book that made you happy. I don't really have a lot of happy books. Fiction books stress me out. A book that made me happy, I guess I gotta go with Binding 13, I guess. Okay. Alright. This is like so not a good book for this question, but I guess we could say a book that made me happy is Binding 13, purely for the characters. I don't read a whole lot of like happy books. Or if I have read them, like I just thought they were like okay. In regards to like the characters in this book are really funny, and the banter is so good. And so because of that, I'm gonna say this book made me happy, even though really it didn't. I read a lot of fantasy books, and fantasy books are full of like that, for the most part, full of like battle scenes and war crimes, and that doesn't make me happy. And a lot of my romance books are kind of sad. So like I guess I'm gonna say this one made me happy. So I guess we'll go with that. I haven't read a whole lot of happy books this year, friends. Maybe I should work on that. I've read a lot of like really sad ones. So the next question is the most beautiful books you have picked up or bought yourself this year. I have 3 that I really like. This one I bought before I even like read the synopsis. I was just strolling through my Barnes & Noble and I decided I have to buy this book, and that's called Living Legends. I still haven't read it yet, but like I just really love this cover. It has the angel wing and the demon wing. I don't know, there's something about it that like just captured me, and I was like, I need this book in my hands now. So I bought it. But basically this is about a demon who is sent to the gates of heaven, and that's all I know about it, and I really hope it's a good book. I know absolutely nothing about it. I didn't read a single review. I just saw the cover and said mine. One of the other books I picked up that I thought was just so beautiful was The Nectar of War by Leilani Helen Aki. Again, just very beautiful. This one I think is about a prince who is looking for a cure. I don't really like how pretty that is. I don't know. There's just something so simple and like detailed about it that I just really like. And I just thought it was very beautiful, so I bought it on Amazon because I kept seeing people talking about it on TikTok. The last book I picked up that I decided I was going to pick up and could not walk out of Barnes & Noble without it was A Fate Inked in Blood by Danielle L. Jensen. I've read a couple of other Danielle L. Jensen books. I've read The Bridge Kingdom by her, and I really enjoyed it. It was probably like one of my real like first fantasy romance books. But it's just really cool. So this is about Nordic mythology. I have heard mixed reviews about it, but again, it's just really, like, look at that. It's metallic, and it's really pretty, and I hope I like it. It's very, probably can't really see that, but it's got some design on it. But I'm really looking forward to picking this one up eventually again, because it is just so, it's very pretty and sparkly, and I like it. I like sparkly things, so sue me. Okay, got a bunch for this last question, and that is, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? So besides my anticipated and besides new releases I haven't picked up, I need to finish the Prison Healer series. This is the 3rd one. I don't know where my 2nd copy is, like somewhere else. I don't know. I need to finish that. I need to finish Boys of Tommen, which is binding. I need to finish Saving 6, Redeeming 6, and then Taming 7. My copy is somewhere. I'm in the middle of reading it this month at least, but I need to get to these 2 as well. Then I would love to reread the myth. Oh, I just got that all on my face. It was very dusty. I'd love to reread the original Mistborn series, so these 3 down here, and then pick up the rest of the series, because I haven't done that yet, and it makes me feel bad when I haven't. So I need to reread these 3. Because I have forgotten everything. My friend Michelle just finished reading it, and she's texting me things, and I'm like, I don't remember this in any way, shape, or form. So that's been a really good time. So I do need to reread these eventually. Another series that I need to reread is going to be the Played the Prisoner series. I have reread the first one. My second is floating around in my house somewhere because I'm going to reread it this month. And then Gleam, Glow, and then wherever Gold is. I thought I bought it. I don't think I did. Gold. So I can read Goldfinch when it comes out, and I'm very excited for it to come out. So that'll be a brutal time. And then another book that I need to get to is Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. This is about Emma and Justin. Basically, they are cursed, and everyone that they date goes on to find the love of their life soon after. So they figured if we date each other, our curses will cancel out and we'll find the love of our lives. Except they fall in love. How freaking adorable. I love that premise. So that looks like it'll be a lot of fun, and I can't wait to get to it eventually during the summer. And the last book that I said, I'm not gonna read this book, but I am gonna read it because me and my friend made a pact that we're gonna read it this year. And that is Fourth Ring by Rebecca Yarros. And I am still putting it off. I have not picked it up. My friend has started it and she's enjoying it, and that scares me a little bit. So if she's liking it, I'm sure I'll kind of like it as well, which does put me at ease slightly. But I will get to this one eventually, and we'll see what I have to say about it. Alright, and that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. If you liked this video, please feel free to like and subscribe, and we can talk more about bookish things. Feel free to tell me what your favorite book of this year has been, and maybe I'll go ahead and check it out. I hope you have a fantastic day. We'll talk later. Goodbye!